All right, greetings all. Time for a garden update. This is July, but a week after 4th of July. This can kind of get us all caught up. So everything's going along really well. Our onions, broccoli coming along. I just planted in between these two rows here carrots. So we got two there and two there, nothing really in the middle. So hopefully those will come up using seed tape. This year was the first year using seed tape and pellets for carrots, and they've gone really well. Started doing our garlic. Some of it was ready to harvest. The rest of these need probably a little bit longer, and it's a little early. Usually we harvest early August. Onions coming along. Nothing special or crazy going on with them. Some of them are getting close to being ready, and others are going to take a bit longer. Yeah, tomatoes and other things here are doing really quite well. Nothing special. We're just starting to get cherry tomatoes. So hopefully, again, here potatoes moving along nicely. Some of our early varieties just about done and ready to harvest. These guys are longer season, and so they probably got another 3-4 weeks. Szechuan peppers are going crazy. They have just reached for the sky. Some little berries down there. This one doesn't have any, but it's also going crazy. Everything in the lean-to sort of tunnel is doing great. The runner has been really successful. The hummingbirds love it, and our other beans are going great. We started harvesting beets. Carrots got a little bit longer to go. Everything else here is going along nicely. We're pretty much done with strawberries, and blueberries are just getting close to being ripe. So let's see, how's that one? I don't know. Nope, not ready. That's close. That one's good better. Orchard's doing well. The peach is still alive. Still showing some signs. I removed most of the disease. A little bit more I need to go through, but it looks like it'll survive, and hopefully with a good round of control this fall, and while it's dormant, and winter will help control it, and it'll survive into next year and be healthy. Now, I did abandon the rice. I decided it was too late in the year, and so I transplanted. We had a bunch of tomatoes in the greenhouse, and since didn't want to, it was getting crowded, so moved them all over here, or moved a bunch of them into here, and then in between sown lettuce and arugula in these corners, which haven't popped out. We did some more carrots just because we're gonna run off the other batch. And I did some dill over here. So each one just has that. Some carrots here. This is asparagus, or this is not asparagus. Arugula, and then lettuce. Pull that sucker. These are all done well. So these are all the ones we did from seed, and they're doing really nicely. Could be a little further along, but some of the ones we planted in the bed back all the way over there are doing a lot better. And then I took the greenhouses off, and then because we had all the extra in, we've added all of our peppers and tomatoes over in that one, just to kind of clear up space in here. And here, just the nice thing is with these racks, because they got holes in them, you just kind of feed the peppers, or the tomatoes and peppers through, and it kind of just acts as a trellis. And they got plenty of grow space, so that's working out nicely. We harvested our cherries just this weekend, so those have been harvested. Got mostly sour cherries, pie cherries this year. The ants, before I could get the little guard on the bottom there, they got to that. That one had most of our sweet cherries, and they got to that one pretty heavily. Chickens are all doing fine. Yeah, I know. They're a little skittish sometimes. But nope, chickens are doing good. Once these guys finish off their chick starter feed, I'm gonna move them in to the main coop, and then that way we'll not have to deal with one level of feed for all the chickens. And then at some point I'm going to expand that little day run area on the back there, but that's a project for another day. Rest of the orchard is doing well. A little bit of insect damage on a couple of things. We had some cherry slugs. They like more than cherries, unfortunately. We had to replace 3 of the hops that died in the heat wave. The artichokes, they're doing all right. No better or worse than last year. I don't know, next year I think we're going to try and figure out how to really make artichokes grow well. Like, they're surviving, but nothing special. And as we work our way up, the blueberries doing well. Hazelnuts had some sunburn, but other than that, they're doing well. The same with all the blackberries. No sunburn at all. But, yep, this one has smaller ones. This one over here, this variety, which I think is Jefferson, has some really nice sized hazelnuts. They grow in 3 clusters. They've been growing in 3 clusters. But they're all doing well. Got new growth after the heat wave. And this, so even though it got it in really late, everything is just doing really well. Corn could be better, but I knew it was late, so, and it's a late variety, so hopefully we'll get some. It was more of a hope than a promise. But the sunflowers, on the other hand, are doing quite well. And so we're getting to the point. This is the mustard. Again, not the greens mustard, but the mustard you make, you know, table mustard out of. So according to the seed company they got it from, they say when you start getting to this point, that's when you want to start looking at just cutting them off and dry them. You want to take the whole plant, apparently. So we'll see. I think some of these are a little small, so I might let them bulk out a little longer. And the rest of these are still flowering and haven't started drying yet, so probably got another 2 weeks, maybe 3, before I start pulling them all. And I think what we're gonna do this year after that is I'll start planning and following this with beets, radishes, and carrots for sort of our fall winter, just to kind of rotate all these, because basically everything in here is a nitrogen heavy feeder. Everything else on the hill, the raspberries and salmon berries, are growing. This fig is doing well. Didn't really get a whole lot of actual figs this year, but it's actually growing quite a bit. That raspberry is really happy. This thing, the Desert King, is doing really well. He's got some nice figs. More blueberries over there, all doing well. Yeah, so even though we were late, everything is going really, really strong. This guy is going gangbusters. This is a black icicle, one of my favorites. It's a sauce type, but it's going really great. So I'll probably save seed from him this year. These first 3 are black icicles, the middle 3 are San Marzanos, and the 3 in the end are Costolutos, sort of a Italian slicer, but you can also use them for sauce. They're very ripply. Peppers, I don't remember all the peppers in here, but they're doing well. A little slow, but the ones we bought obviously are a lot bigger than the ones that we grew from seed. For whatever reason, our tomatoes bounced back and just want to run away, but our peppers, they're fine, but they did not definitely explode the same way the tomatoes did. So, and then now we'll head back on over to the back area. All right, so over here the lemons and our oranges have really been taking off, and they've loved the heat. I know some of our other stuff haven't. So lots of new growth, lots of fresh growth. And they're doing really well. Really happy to see how well they took. And getting a little bit of wilts here on some of these of our brassicas in the pots. But otherwise, doing well. They pick back up. It's the hot part of the day and they're on the back porch, so this does get hot in the late afternoon. So it's supposed to cool off later this week. And all of our herbs doing great. Trying to keep that one parsley's been trying to go to seed. Otherwise, everything else is just going nice and happy and making dinners delicious. Those are going to probably replace our potatoes here soon, so depending how long it takes. And same for over here. We've got our other figs doing well. Need to give them a little bit of fertilizer, but otherwise they're doing great. And then pulled all of the spinach that was in here and some of the lettuce, just because it was bolting. Some of the lettuce hasn't, and our Swiss chard is doing great. But I did plant beans and a little bit of carrots. Some of the carrots are in here, and then beans, some of our bush beans, which I should have done this year. I just forgot to plant bush beans earlier, because they do earlier, and even though I love pole beans, they do take a while before they actually start producing beans. But yeah, everything's going well. This guy keeps getting knocked over in the wind. Need to restake him, but all of the rosemary and lavender is going great. This is great because once these get established, you really don't need to water them. Like this, haven't watched these rosemary in a bit. We got a couple of the new ones that I do need to water a little more regularly. Just first year, and these little guys in the back here haven't quite been established. Next year they'll be fine, but this year they just need a little water. But yeah, everything else is doing great. Again, hope you enjoyed. Yeah, that's our garden right now. Doing great, even though we were late.